Hey guys, what is up? It is Biff, and today we are going to work on the Trans Am. One of the things we've been trying to rule out and going through this whole saga with the miss and the hesitation and the misfires is how good was that head job? How well were the heads done when I had them resurfaced? Anyway, how well were those heads done when I had them planed and the valves done and everything? About 10, 12, 15,000 miles ago-ish. Even though it's been about 12 years, I haven't put many miles on this beauty. Compression check on a 4th gen F-body LT1 promises to be a horrible time. No fun at all. Stay tuned if you want to watch me get my way through it. The battery's dead. It's this piece of shit red top Optima that I've just fought forever. So I'm going to try to go back to AutoZone and see if I can get them to exchange it for a lead acid battery and just go that route. Last time I did that, they made me exchange it for another Optima, and I'm just fed up with those things. So that's what I'm going to do first. Pull the battery, take it back to AutoZone, see if they'll exchange it. If not, I'm just going to have to buy a new one and get back here because I've got a compression checker, and so the next thing I'm going to do is dig into checking compression on all the cylinders, and that's going to take some cranking. I need that battery to be strong. Okay, so we got the battery replaced with a Duralast Gold. So back to a lead acid, get rid of that red top Optima. Hopefully it'll be a little bit better for the setting periods in between actually starting it. That red top just has never been very good at holding a charge over long periods of time between starts. So hopefully the lead acid will be a little bit better. And I did start it up. It started right up. That's the first time it has started since I tried starting it last time where it was chugging and we pushed it out of here. If I'd have had a good battery, I probably could have started it up and driven it in here instead of pushing it back in. But that's beside the point. I gotta tell you, I am really not excited to do this because if there's anything probably less fun than anything I've done to this car in the past, it's replacing the spark plugs. I've done it at least twice in the life of the car, maybe 3 times. And so doing a compression test is going to be even that much more challenging because I have to pull the plugs out one by one, install my compression tester, and crank it and get my results for each one and then replace the plug. But it's something that I feel like I need to do to get to the bottom of the condition of this engine, first and foremost, because I think it's solid. But I need to know. And then I will start backtracking back to some of the other things that may ultimately lead me back to our favorite component on this car of all time, said nobody ever, the OptiSpark. First I'll go for the easy one here and we'll just see how this works. The other thing I'm going to do is go ahead and pull off the coil wire. That is going to allow me to crank the engine to build the compression without actually letting it fire on the other cylinders. Alright, coil wire is pulled off the OptiSpark. Number 1, plug wire is pulled. I will now remove that spark plug. So a little black, maybe running a little bit rich, which makes sense based on what we saw, but it looks good. For my application here, I'm going to use the adapter here because it has the same threads as my spark plug. And so when I screw this into the head, then I can screw this into it and put my gauge on it and crank it and get my compression. This again might be one of the easier things to do from underneath the car, where I can get a straight look at it. got rubber seals on it, so let's see if it holds. I snugged the first one down, so hopefully I didn't squish the rubber seal out. The second one I just kind of got on there hand snugged. So let's see how this works out. We'll give it a shot here. Here we go, first crank. Looks like we're at about 160. All right, let's give it one more shot here and let you see. Yeah, so we'll call that 160 for cylinder 1. I'm gonna go ahead and put this plug back in, and then in addition to having the coil wire unplugged, I'm gonna pull the fuse to the fuel pump so I'm not just flooding all the cylinders with fuel as I crank it. Okay, plug number 1 is in and the wire is back on. Moving on to plug number 2. Yeah, so that one looks like it's been rich also, but it is also wet because it's flooding it, so I will pull the circuit breaker. First, I'll go ahead and get this thing going in here. Snug down, finger tight. Let's see if we can get this baby going in here. Snug everything up good and tight. Oh, twist tight. And we're good to go. Before we do that, let's find the fuse. Let's see if it's in here. So injector fuses and other relays, but not the fuel pump. So it must be inside the car. So here now we've got, I don't see it, ignition, but I don't see the fuel pump. Supposedly it's behind this kick panel. It's all one piece. It comes from the front all the way back, so there's 4 Phillips screws in here that I'm going to pull, and then pull this panel off and see if I can find the fuse, the relay actually, fuel pump relay, and unplug it. So there's one other screw in here. There's the 4 along the side molding, but then there's one in the dead, where you have the dead pedal up in here, up against the left side there. So one right flat in the middle of the dead pedal. I'll pull it out too. Okay. Here we go, and then that comes out nicely. I think the relay is this right here. So I will go ahead and unplug that, and then that will keep the fuel pump from cycling and pumping fuel into the cylinders while I'm cranking it. So if I turn on the key, should be able to feel that. And feel it clicking, and I can hear the fuel pump. So now let's see if we can get that out. For now, there should be no fuel. Nope, no fuel. All right, let's go ahead and check cylinder number 2. About 167 or so on that one. Yeah, about 162 on that one, so we'll call it 165. So I called that cylinder number 2. That is actually cylinder number 3, my bad. We all know that. We know what I'm talking about. We're adults here. Get this plug back in. Snug it down. Using even pressure so you don't snap the porcelain, the ceramic. 2 down, 6 to go. The fun ones are yet to come. And again, super rich and a little bit wet. The thing you want to be careful of is if you drop your plug, you're going to want to make sure you re-gap it, because if it falls on the end there, it could close the gap up or adjust the gap on you. So just be careful about that. If you drop them, re-gap them. And then you also might want to check them for broken porcelain at that point, because then you might just need to get a new plug. All right, in with the adapter. think I'm gonna have to get underneath there to get this. It's time to jack up the 170. 170, nice. We'll take it on to number 7. All right, ready for cylinder 7. 160. 160. So we got cylinders 1, 3, 5, and 7 on the left bank done. 160 to 170 on all those, so they're all fairly consistent. So now I'm going to go ahead and move over to the right bank and get 2, 4, 6, 8. The best Pontiac might be to remove the plugs from above and to get the hose on them from below. None of these are going to be easy. Okay, number 8 plug wires off. Let's see what we can do here. Wish I could get 2 hands down in there. So I gotta hold that while I pulled it, and that's just so minimal room. Fudge. Let me go look at it underneath. I'm touching it, and that's all I can do. All I can do is touch it. There is no leverage on that son of a bitch whatsoever. Do not want to snap it off. Okay, hey, I got it. There wasn't even much cussing to speak of. Youch! It's hard to reach in there. That's one, and that's just out. So now I get to try to put this in that same little spot. And the sad thing is, this will be the easy part. The hard part will be that. All right, it went in. We are well on our way to having 5/8 of a compression check done on this beast. I don't even want to venture to guess if we'll get any further. Give me my hand back. And now the fun part. Normally what I'm doing is I'm bending this backwards like this so that it wants to twist back. Because if I do this, it wants to flip. I know you can't see it, but if I put it like that, it actually wants to turn itself back to this other way. That requires me holding onto this end to keep it bent backwards and not let it twist until I get the tip of those threads in, and then you let it do 1/2 twist to get the thread started. I can't reach both ends of this right now and do that. That's a challenge. Okay, I'm gonna try to go under it and take a look. Amazingly enough, it might be in there. Let's see what we can do. Hopefully it'll hold enough pressure for a good compression check. Best one yet, 175. $180. All right, well, that side's definitely doing better. So the question is that side really doing better, or is it just because I sprayed some of that lithium grease on the threads and the seal on that little piece before I stuck it in? Most likely that's it. That's not that huge of a difference for me to suspect the left side over the right. We'll see. I would assume this side's going to end up being in the 170s most of the way up. So, oh my gosh, I'm going to start the labor-intensive process of taking this off and trying to get it on the number 6.
Okay, that was number 8. Now we're pulling off the boot on number 6. Damn it. Well, that's what it's not supposed to look like. That's what happens when you get a little too much angle on the end on it while you're torquing it. That's in there. Hose time.
Here's the other half of our Bosch Platinum from underneath the car. But we're installed and ready to do this compression check.
Number 6 is looking good at 175.
About 171. Another one down. And believe it or not, I think these are the easy ones.
Because number 4 may not be bad, but number 2 is going to be a bitch. But we'll get in there and get it.
Obviously, I'm not going to be able to replace that plug right now, so I'm just going to pull this one out and move up to number 4. Okay, now it's decision time. And I think I know what the decision is. I think it's time to take the alternator off again. So that is my plan. I'm going to pull the tension off of the serpentine belt, take that off, and remove the alternator so I can get in here.
Might actually be able to get this one from the top. Lucky me. $180.
And it's also cranking faster since we don't have any accessories on right now, which is probably good for getting a more solid compression check.
Of course, the last one has to be the biggest bitch and the cleanest burning spark plug. Okay, I have no knees left. They've all been gouged with plastic and aluminum, but we're on here. And so we're about to get our last cylinder. Let's take a look at it. That'll be good enough news right there, about 172. Let's try it again. 175. After I pull this off and put the alternator back on, I'm going to do one last experiment, and that is going to be I'm going to spray that thing again with a little bit of white lithium grease and get to one of the easy ones on that side and just give it one more check and see if it has a higher compression. I assume it will, but just to double check kind of that balance I'm seeing between the two sides, we're at about 170 to 180 on the right bank and about 160 to 170-ish, 175 on the left bank. So there's about a 10 to 15 pound difference between the two. I think that is probably mostly just having lube on those threads to allow, to help keep air from seeping past it while you're trying to generate the compression. The other thing to check, I'll mention it now that we're at the very end, is make sure you still have your rubber seals on these things when you pull them out. Because if you leave one behind and then end up putting your spark plug in there on it, you might not have a good seal. Spark plugs on the 4th gen F body, no fun. Compression check, even worse. It's like spark plugs on steroids. But really? Putting those spark plugs in didn't challenge you? Try this. Ha ha! You suck! Well, that's close to 175 there. So yeah, so it went from 162 to 172. I'd say that the having that grease on there was good for that white lithium stuff to lube the adapter. It's probably worth about 10 psi of air leakage that I was getting. And if you took all of these and added 10, you'd have 170, 175, 180, and 170 versus 173, 180, 173, and 180. So I'm gonna say that my compression is in the 170 to 180 range across both sides, all 8 cylinders, and so no issues with compression, so we're good to go there. What a pain in the ass to check, but worth the results. All right, so I just double checked this since I'm gonna be getting another double iridium Bosch R6 here for the number 6 cylinder there. They're gapped at about 048. They should come pre-gapped, but I just wanted to be able to check and make sure they're the same. Stick my ass in here, into the camera one more time for good measure. Took the compression checker back to O'Reilly's, grabbed a new double iridium Bosch R6. I double checked this one there because it looks a little smaller, and in fact it is. It's about 039, so I'm going to go ahead and gap that up. Normally they come preset pretty good. I'm just going to gap it. All right, 048, so should be good to go. Let's put it in number 6 and call this good. Compression check complete, plugs installed. Let's put the alternator back on and then wonder what the heck else it could be. Probably OptiSpark. We've replaced the battery and did a compression check on all cylinders, on all 8 cylinders, and again we are at about 170 to 180 on compression. So so I'm happy with that. It's good to go. There are no underlying issues going on with the top engine. It may start up again right now and run fine, or it may not, and it may have issues. That's the underlying problem that we still have to get after, and we did not fix on this, but at least we ruled out one thing, and that's one of the things I've been wanting to rule out for a long time, to be honest with you. I felt fairly confident in how stout the engine is, and that just confirms it. So let's go ahead and give it a start right now. I already plugged in the fuel pump relay and put the kickboard back in on the side and the footwell. Alternator's back on. The serpentine belt is on. Replaced the number 6 spark plug. Put everything back together. So we're good to go. Let's go ahead and give it a crank. And there you have it. Running smoothly with no miss. This car is a freaking mystery. Not a problem with it. Smells rich, so maybe we got a fuel pressure regulator issue going on or something. I do have one of those. I don't know, guys. Would that OptiSpark come in and out like that? Stand by. Man, I got the window, or I got the garage open, and I still feel like I'm gonna get high in here. That thing is rich, really rich. Running smooth, but super rich. So talk to me. It's running super rich, obviously. And then maybe that's causing it to load up and foul out the plugs. We saw how wet and black they were. Or could it be that OptiSpark, could it be that intermittent where it's working 1 minute and not the next? I kind of tend to believe that maybe something is causing us to run too rich, foul out the plugs, and then it starts to lose power and stumble at this point, now that we've fixed all the other issues, the bad plug wire, so we got rid of the miss. So this is kind of seems to be
migrating to a slightly different problem. But I'm curious what you guys have to say. You've had a lot of good comments. Please comment down below and let me know what you think, that this might be the next kind of things that I could look at for this. Running good at the moment, but it won't last, not smelling like that. Alright guys, I need a little Red Bull to pick me up here. That took it out of me. As predicted, if there's anything that's less fun than doing plugs on a 4th gen F-body, LT1, Trans Am, and I suppose Camaro would be the same thing. It's actually pulling those plugs out and trying to fish a compression check line in there and thread it on, so that you can then take it back off, put your plugs in, and complete a compression check on the car. But at least we got it done. Now we got to get back to trying to figure out if there's anything going on in this engine with some codes or anything else. So I am going to try to start working on the OBD1 reader with an OBD2 scanner. I think that's the root of the problems I'm having. This OBD1 system is just so antiquated and so early on in the whole process of starting to do onboard diagnostics that the OBD2 scanners are just way too advanced. I have some thoughts. That'll be in the next episode as I look for options for how we can help you retrieve your codes cheaply. So I'm not sure if I'll get there or not, but we're gonna try. I appreciate you watching. Again, I appreciate your comments. You guys have been really kicking in on the Trans Am here lately, and I like that. A lot of good interaction and good suggestions, especially if you have any thoughts now that we know we have good compression. Why would we be running rich and fouling out? You know, is that not an ignition thing? Or could it be an ignition thing that runs perfect, doesn't run perfect, runs perfect, doesn't run perfect? I don't know. But anyway, if you like the channel, if you like the content, I know this was just a whole lot of getting to see my ass in the screen. I apologize for that. It's the nature of working on this beast. But please, like and subscribe. Come back and catch us again another time. And please stay safe out there as you get back into the public. We'll catch you again real soon. Take care.